Welcome once again on to News Tonight. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango to take you through what's making headlines this evening. Now, starting off with the Kyabazinga coronation, the Kyabazinga William Gabulana Diop has celebrated 10 years of installation. Now, the ceremony that has attracted dignitaries from the central government, the Kyabazinga sheep and other kingdoms outside Busoga took place in Buyende district. In his message, the Kyabazinga called on his subordinates to unite and work hard to uplift their standards of living. The first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of East African Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga, was among the top government officials who attended the coronation anniversary.
Oluguudo ove Walugogo obite Busalamu Nakabugu Buropa Tubudumbula endagano yasanibwa iddo abaluka isenga kwa president ndikasokanga mpatu wananga chorus so ndiko basakasa kyaweire ndakusomwana ifayive makemba kaleira okuba kobacho ekyo tukirire nolwo ekyo bukungu muteralikira kyona tulikigoba tusanga lokulira nti president akwenda kwideno kwogera ku byenanda kamba sabe nti bwanaida timwida kwemotya ndibasaba kimwemotya ensonga y'ebyenanda n'obuvubi nzibwene Busoga emirimu enanda edisinga n'olwekyo ekigema ku byenanda bigema ku Busoga n'olwekyo mutya mukobera ekituufu nti ekintu ekizibu atwala abasirikale ku nanda oba kyekyo bagobe obutimba obutundibwa mu maduuka tidye bubita kwa gavumenti niyeno revenue authority ebintu bibitaga kwidana abantu babigule so mutya mumukobe wendibawo ndi mukoba ekyokubiri kigabagana na bibali usange tabakise bali ano ona boyidi oliya ndi kubanda report y'ebibali yali ya myezi 2 ayimpantu kujja mu mwaka abataka ndikwenda kubakobera nti president yakoba kye Busoga Bukedi Bagali kwa lata baba sida kukoleku baba meyo na nsomere eti mwegemye yona tusaba otwikirize
the RDCs okuba mu bitundu ebyendawulo mu Uganda, our development partners in their respective capacities bamukunganya ab'ebisoko ab'emitala abalangira n'abambeeda abagenyi ab'endawulo n'emikwano gya Busoga, Elders Council, abazaire aba family yange mu bitiibwa byaimwe n'abazaire baffe abayine bantu family ya Muzeyi Bayole n'abandi mu bitiibwa byaimwe na buli muntu mu kitiibwa kye. All protocol observed. Balamuyisa ino basebo ni banyabo. Ntwala omukisa guno okubaaniriza mwena mu bitiibwa byaimwe nga tudaguza amatiikira ag'omukuzi gwe-10 wano e Budyope. Kano kabonero akalaga nti mwenda ino ebyobuwangwa n'ennono daife era twongera okukolera abalala okudinyweza n'okudikuuma. Olunaku olwaleero lwa byafaayo ino eri Busoga kubanga letuweziza emyaka 10.
Well, welcome back from that coronation ceremony. Some of the pictures of what transpired. Now, over 100 corporate leaders on Friday gathered at an annual CEO forum hosted by the CEO Summit Uganda to address the sustainability issue. The forum was a crucial reminder that safeguarding the future lies in the hands of today's leaders. Let's hear more in this report.
Under the theme, Only One Earth, Our Purpose and Mandate, the forum brought together top executives and government officials to discuss innovative strategies for managing the planet's scarce resources.
Are we walking the talk? Do we acknowledge that we only have one Earth? Captains of industry, it's only one Earth. There isn't any other Earth. And this Earth, if we don't take care of it, we shall be held accountable. And on that note, I would like to check with you. Are we for the future or are we for now? Just taking you back to the definition of sustainability. Sustainability is all about taking care of our needs today without compromising the ability of those in the future to take care of their needs. So as we live today, are we only thinking about the now, or are we also considering the future? Where do we stand on this particular aspect?
This year, the focus was on urging decision makers in both corporate and government sectors to take bold, forward-thinking steps towards sustainability.
The goal of this strategy is to enhance mobilization, utilization, and tracking of climate finance for Uganda's inclusive sustainable development and wealth creation. We have also put in place a National Climate Change Act. There is a law, National Climate Change Act, which requires climate change responsive budgeting through domestic and international mobilization of climate finance, among other things.
Through various roundtable discussions, participants explored sustainable business models and the importance of collective action for a greener, more sustainable future.
The private sector has the resources, innovation, and responsible business practices needed to drive meaningful, lasting change. The power to make a difference is in our hands.
As the global environmental crisis worsens, forums like these are a critical platform for driving change. The call to action is clear. Decisive leadership and innovation are key to ensuring the sustainability of our planet. Sandra Kahunde, Robert Katamba, News Tonight.
So much, Mr. Ramadan Gobi.
Now, the State House Anti-Corruption Unit and the State House Investors Protection Unit commanders, Brigadier General Henry Isoke and Colonel Edith Nakalima, have engaged in an intellectual dialogue with student leaders from various universities to explore solutions for eradicating corruption in the country. The heated discussion highlighted concerns about poor governance, extremism, extravagance, and class division in the workforce. The State House officials pledged to address these concerns while committing to fighting corruption and improving citizens' welfare. Let's hear more from Ivan Kawa.
Makerere University has hosted a discussion with officials from the State House on potential solutions to the widespread corruption affecting service delivery. The Guild Public Dialogue sought input from the youth on matters of accountability. The students raised issues of extravagance, greed, intimidation, selective policy enforcement, and the lack of political will among leaders to combat corruption.
Corruption stifles creativity and ambition. Because why would I dream big, yet I know that the system is very crippled?
I would like to disagree with someone who says we need evidence to fight against corruption. I don't think that is proper because these things are in front of our eyes. Why do we need evidence to speak against things that are not right in our country?
Let's leave this small elementary thing of saying corruption start with you, me, family one. The basic thing is that let us concentrate on the government.
Students requested the government to reallocate funds to the middle class, which is responsible for providing essential services.
So, if we are really patriotic enough and we are serious about corruption, money has to shift to where the real service delivery is. The middle class of journalists, lawyers, teachers, doctors, that's where the real service delivery is. Politicians, Monday to Sunday, are politiki. If you go to that parliament, 80% of those people have no professional skills.
What impact of what benefit are all those to the common people who pay taxes? You're monitoring, you're evaluating, you're commissioning, then before you notice it, 170 million are spent on a 2-room pit-lance latrine. How?
These concerns were acknowledged by the heads of the State House Anti-Corruption Unit and the State House Investors Protection Unit, Brigadier General Henry Isoke and Colonel Edith Nakalema.
We are taking all your concerns and questions very seriously. So I have been writing and now I have about 10 pages of your concerns. And
Colonel Edith Nakalema emphasized that improving people's welfare should be a key focus in the fight against corruption.
Those of you who are determined to make a contribution in socio-economic transformation, to desist the wrong elements, fight the corrupt by blocking them, don't accept to give a bribe, don't take it from anybody, report what is wrong.
She highlighted that the government has empowered young people in leadership positions to help address the concerns raised by the youth, while cautioning them against engaging in activities that could lead to insecurity.
We don't believe in powering yourselves on the streets, that you're coming to demonstrate against corruption, because demonstrating does not add much value to what you want to achieve. Yes, showing up to say, I am here and this is what has brought me. And indeed, it is a constitutional right for people to demonstrate, but it has to be an organized demonstration.
Brigadier General Henry Isoke, the head of the Anti-Corruption Unit, stated that there is an institutional legal framework in place to combat corruption.
Various institutions that have been put in place. And all these, the problem is you will not blame institutions being created, but possibly the people who are in those institutions. Because these institutions are very well thought out. Some of them are conventional. When you go to any country, any progressive country, you'll find those institutions there.
The State House Anti-Corruption Unit receives 150 to 200 complaints daily through its call center, mostly related to corruption. In the past 5 years alone, 617 individuals have been arraigned in court, including 310 civil servants, 56 from central government, 189 from local government, 66 from statutory bodies, and 307 private individuals. A total of 102 convictions have been secured.
64 are public officials and 38 are private persons.
As of September 12, 2024, the State House Anti-Corruption Unit received 687,108 complaints.
And these complaints are about abuse of office by public officials, conflicts of interest, lands-related disputes, nepotism, personation, tax evasion, recruitment, issues of like what the lady was talking about. Okay? Forgery and uttering false.
Now, dialogues have been conducted to address the issue of corruption, including gearing more efforts to involve the youth in addressing the vice. But the question remains as to whether these dialogues will yield tangible results to hold those who engage in corruption tendencies accountable. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News at Makerere University.
Now, in the Presidential Forum, government is working on developing northern Uganda into a commercialized production and logistical hub for export. This was revealed during the 5th biannual private sector retreat organized by the Presidential CEO Forum.
The fifth biannual private sector retreat held in Kampala attracted a number of attendees from the private sector and key government agencies. The retreat is under the theme Battle to Greenfield, transforming northern Uganda into a commercialized production and logistical hub for export. Uganda's Prime Minister Robina Nabanja was the chief guest and emphasized the need for collaboration between government and private sector to make this dream a reality.
The NRM government's focus continues to be on the following. 1, promoting commercial agriculture. That is by encouraging the adaptation for long-term productivity and profitability. Number 2, enhancing infrastructure. That is through developing roads, electricity, the railway, the storage facilities, and many other transportation networks to facilitate the efficient movement of goods and the services from the farms to markets.
All know that northern Uganda is a strategic area. Yeah. First of all, it accommodates close to 36 districts, but which are summarized into West Nile, Acholi, Langwa, and Karamoja. For over some years, they've been under conflict. And for the last 20 years, we've seen peace and stability in that region, which has transformed them. But not at the pace probably they would want to. So now the conversations are, what are those strategic interventions that now can come up where private sector is involved to ensure that they encourage them to have first of all, mindset change, but also to be in position to utilize their land profitably. You've heard it from the Prime Minister, the message from the President, and all the other legislators. You've seen that honorable members of Parliament have been here, and they're all speaking about one voice to see how best can they change that mindset and enable Northern Region to become a transformation area.
Minister of State for Youth and Children Affairs Balambaru Gahara highlighted that making northern Uganda a commercialized and production hub will help to create employment opportunities for the youth.
The biggest problem I have as a Minister of Children, there are children from Karamoja who are coming to Kampala to beg for food, to beg for subsistence. So by having this tactical team, I call it tactical because they are not looking for money, they have money. So when a team of CEOs come together and sit in a room and go as far as Yumbe, Noya, and all these other villages, finding what can be done, what transformation can be done in agriculture, in industrialization, in animal husbandry, I think they are doing a good thing.
Northern Uganda leaders are optimistic that the initiative will help to transform the region economically. Top on the list of priority crops that can help the economic transformation of the region is coffee.
I pray that at the end of the day, when we conclude this meeting, we should be able to unlock the potentials of Northern Uganda and have Northern Uganda contribute meaningfully to the economy of this country and have everyone move into the money economy.
Inaugurated in 2021, the Presidential CEO Forum acts as a link between the private sector, CEOs from corporate institutions, and government executives with the aim to contributing to the national development agenda. Charity Marion Imnat and Adia Nakuti for UBC News.
Now, as we look at aquaculture in the Dokolo area, Dokolo North Member of Parliament Ogwal Moses has proposed the land that was once cultivated or once for cultivation but now currently flooded with water may be used to promote aquaculture. During an exclusive interview with UBC, Ogwal disclosed that floods are a major issue affecting people of Dokolo and the bordering districts.
Increased water levels on Lake Victoria have resulted into a lot of water being released, hence affecting surrounding communities, including Sese Islands. Dokolo North Member of Parliament Ogwal Moses says this water has affected the land which people previously used for cultivation but can now be used to promote aquaculture.
It now comes and we are now suffering like those who are on Lake Emyooga, Kwania and so on. Water has increased by about 300 meters into what used not to be where people were. There are gardens that if you did a horizontal mapping of making fish parks, this land could be useful, which is overflooded now. It could be used for developing aquaculture, particularly species like mudfish and so on. Now, these products are heavily demanded in DRC.
Although aquaculture has been sampled in the area before, the biggest challenge is how to dig ponds, and this is coupled with the issue of thieves once one succeeds in getting the ponds.
Set up most of the aquaculture for most of the fisher folk so that they can have two sources of getting fish. One, the one they are growing themselves, and then the wild. Since there are thieves also coming to attack their own products, the army would be deployed, given special TORs, the Fisheries Protection Unit, would be added another special task to also look after the fish under aquaculture.
While in Gulu recently for the regional parliamentary sitting, President Museveni expressed the need for people to adopt commercial agriculture. According to Ogwal, cattle are the epitome of development in their area, but they need to have feeds. The local residents have planted cassava for food security, but also discovered how to make animal feeds from cassava.
So further discovered is that cassava, with its leaves, if you fermented them after grinding, they give you good feed for chicken and good feed for cattle and all other animals. So it now goes step by step from the feed. Remember, the feed contributes 80% of the cost of any livestock.
According to Mr. Ogwal, the fastest way to develop is to work towards making people have good purchasing power to help support industrialization. I'm Nafka Farida and Gloria Ogwitabinji.
Now, news just in indicates that at the close of today, Light Up Eastern Region of Jesus 2024 convocation, President Yoweri Museveni delivered a powerful message urging Ugandans to embrace love and unity. Speaking to a gathering of participants from 49 districts, Museveni emphasized the importance of living according to the biblical principles of loving God with all one's heart, soul and mind and strength, and also loving one's neighbor as oneself. Museveni highlighted the hatred among people disrespects God's creation, urging attendees to recognize themselves as temples of the Most High God and live responsibly. He also reiterated key principles of the National Resistance Movement (NRM), including unity, peace, poverty eradication and discipline. Addressing poverty, Museveni suggested that residents of Tororo harness local water bodies for fish farming and learn from successful farming practices in Kitelera farm. On the issue of tribal clashes, such as those between the Itesot and Badama, Museveni advocated for collaboration and harmony, warning against imposing languages of customs that could create division. First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Mama Janet Kataha Museveni, echoed the call for unity, urging people to transcend denominational divides and focus on the teaching of Jesus Christ, the foundation of Christian faith. She praised the efforts of Pastor Patience Rabogo and her husband Odrek Rabogo for fostering unity among diverse tribes and advancing God's message. The Light Up Eastern Region for Jesus 2024 convocation, which ran from September 9th to 13th, featured impactful messages from prominent speakers, including Apostle Daniel Batambuze, Bishop Joshua Luere, Apostle Alex Mitala, Elder Odrek Rabogo, and lead pastor Patience Rabogo. Pastor Patience shared insights on the series of activities focused on the spiritual transformation, repentance and restoration, aiming to uplift attendees from brokenness and bondage. Now, to do with Kampala Water, National Water and Sewerage Corporation has launched a massive expansion of the city water supply network, targeting an additional 1 million residents in the greater Kampala metropolitan area. This has been disclosed by the Executive Director, National Water and Sewerage Corporation, Engineer Dr. Silva Mugisha, in Kampala.
The expansion of Kampala water supply network comes after the successful Katosi Waterworks project, which was commissioned by President Yoweri Museveni in December 2022. The 373 billion shillings project will see 71 kilometers of new pipelines laid, with reservoirs and booster stations added to ensure that even the most water-starved areas in Kampala get relief.
Then construction of 2.5 million litre capacity reservoir at Kabulengwa, that is in Nansana, Wakiso district. Construction of 1 million litre capacity reservoir in Mutungo. Mutungo, this will be on the upper side. Upper side. We've been having a challenge. We have a big tank on the lower side, but on the upper side we had a small reservoir, I think. So we want to make it bigger. Then construction of 3 booster stations at Kungu, Buate, at Kaburengwa and Mutungo to pump water to Kanyanya, Kaburengwa and Mutungo upper reservoirs respectively.
Communities in Chira, Kasangati, Kanyanya, Kawanda, Nansana and more are set to benefit from this extensive upgrade.
So it's quite an extensive project. And I think when we cover those ones, we shall reduce the catchment for Muyenga. And so when we reduce the catchment for Muyenga, we shall be increasing water supply on this other side, southwestern part of Kampala. So this project comes in to solve a huge water supply challenge which we have been experiencing in Kampala.
Engineer Dr. Silva Mugisha says the project will push the number of people served from 5 to 6 million.
And we hope the consultant and the contractor will work very, very well. Soge has been doing a very good job. I definitely have no doubt that they will be able to execute this project successfully. Mr. Contractor, you need to know that we don't like cost overruns, we don't like time overruns. That is what builds the relationship with us. You can try to create them with all your technical reasons, but at least it won't build trust with us.
The new infrastructure will address transmission and distribution capacity of water daily.
For us, it's a big achievement to be there. As the managing director of National Water has said, it makes more than 10 years that AFD with other European donors is involved to improve the water sector in the Great Kampala metropolitan area. And
the project is set to commence on November 15th and is expected to be completed within 30 months. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Now, educationists in Kigezi region, in an interface with the Visiting Education Policy Review Commission members, called for an increase in a capitation grant for government schools to support effective implementation of the competence-based O-level curriculum. They say that the grant has remained underutilized despite the curriculum's higher costs, particularly for facilitating students' projects and the much-needed school infrastructure facelifts. Our reporter, Cyprus Arinetwe, has just returned from southwestern Uganda and filed this report.
The new curriculum, which emphasizes a shift from a teacher-centered approach to a learner-focused pedagogy, emphasizes group work, peer learning, and project-based activities. However, its effective implementation is allegedly hindered by the insufficient teacher training received during its initial days of rollout and inadequate funding.
It's expensive, yet the capitation grant has been stagnant for some time. We appeal to the government to increase capitation grant and then also have more of the laboratories and the computers in schools.
As a result, students report ongoing challenges with the new issues arising each day, despite the first cohort preparing for national exams this year.
About the new curriculum, yes. So it's like every day we're getting something new about the curriculum to learn. And for the application, maybe the answering of questions, well, we have gotten that, but then questions are tricky. But
we are not aware if those who are going to mark us, if they know the information, how to mark the things they should follow. Even some questions are confusing. You find that you as students, you are confused, and sometimes even the teacher is confused. We are not sure of what to do. We are not sure for sure, because every time we are seeing new information from UNEB. As we students, we are ready for this, but I think UNEB was not ready for this, because they are bringing new information time and time. We don't know what is to be done, what is not to be done.
For the government, I think it can best do it to provide research centers to different schools, because not all schools have research centers, yet this curriculum is all about research and the learners' input mostly. So they only give us questions and we have to research it. Some schools don't have, and those that have research centers, they are limited.
During the field visits of the Educational Policy Review Commission in Kigezi Sub-Region, teachers in Kigezi Sub-Region expressed concern that the curriculum rollout was rushed, pointing out that universities are still producing graduates trained in the old curriculum teaching methods. They advocate for universities to adopt competence-based training to align it with all-level needs. They also called for increased support in ICT, libraries, and laboratories to fully realize the curriculum's potential.
On the issue of competence-based curriculum, where we have to have hands-on experience, the government is introducing using phones in our schools. I think it is good, because when we don't have enough computers in our schools, these phones will help our students, mostly on science and technology.
Okay, most of us go for the computer practicals, and there are 15. Only 15 computers and 10 are working. You can spend almost one term without even sitting on a computer and typing.
I think the whole country, Kampala district and the whole country at large, we need more money in education sector to cater for desks, cater for toilets, to cater for other structures, because our children are suffering.
In arrested development, salary disparities and low teacher motivation are driving many educators into early retirement.
The purpose of this commission is to find out how our education system is and to learn from the stakeholders on the ground what the issues are and what they recommend that can be done to improve the education system.
A trend alarming though. Despite salary enhancements for science teachers, many continue to leave for private schools seeking better pay. After all, they are short of better pension. On average, a primary school teacher earns 480,000 Uganda shillings per month and is expected to teach full-time from Monday to Friday. Educationists say it is unrealistic to expect quality education when teachers are underpaid. Majority are now resorting to side businesses to meet financial demands.
I think government should have designed a policy or a curriculum for primary education first at degree level, so that we have those teachers who are ready to replace. But teachers are going, schools are empty. We have permission to replace, that one we are doing, but of course there are restrictions on recruiting new ones. and it is a big challenge. And others are not interested in coming to join primary education. One, because of the funding, the facilitation, or the salary. Someone gets around 480 a month. When you convert it to the current rate of expenditure, that salary is low to motivate a person to come. They'd rather go for business. And actually we are wondering what we can do. You stop a person from going, the person is already demotivated not to teach. So imagine holding a person who no longer wants to work because you don't want them to go. So we let them go, and we go to advertising and look for new ones, the young ones. We have nothing to do.
This money is not enough because education should be the key to the development of a nation. So if you just handle it the way I have seen it is being handled, I'm sorry, we are not going to get quality education. The teachers are running away from education because they are not treated equally. And even these are science, these are arts. Even art is very important in education. Ato kureba umusomesa wa science munashiza na headmaster umushara because the headmaster is arts.
All districts, all chief accounting officers are complaining of the increasing number of teachers who are asking for early retirement.
This 12-member commission team was constituted in 2021 by the Minister for Education and Sports and has so far gathered 240 members from various parts of the country. This week, the commission has had this in Ankole and Kigezi sub-regions. Christmas at Nitwe here at the beautiful shores of Lake Bunyonyi here in Kigezi.
Thank you very much there, Crispus. Now a little bit into the health sector. Health experts have raised concerns about the rising cases of sepsis in Uganda, a condition that is often misunderstood, misdiagnosed and underreported. The Executive Director, Uganda National Consumers Organization, Robina Kaitiritimba, says sepsis is a prevalent condition that can affect anyone who contracts an infection. The experts disclosed this in a press conference in Kampala.
Sepsis is a prevalent condition that can affect anyone who contracts an infection. The Executive Director, Uganda National Consumers Organization, Robina Kaitiritimba, says pregnant women, young children, the elderly, and those with chronic illnesses are more susceptible to sepsis.
Sepsis is a silent killer, and that is the bottom line, that you may not know, many people don't know until it is too late. It accounts for 13.7 million deaths globally, and 30% of these deaths are in sub-Saharan Africa. 1 in 5 deaths worldwide is associated with sepsis. 40% of cases are children under 5. So the heaviest burden is with children under 5 years. Up to 50% of sepsis survivors beyond the disease suffer from long-term physical and a combination of physical and psychological effects.
Sepsis often starts with a simple infection such as pneumonia, which can gradually worsen if not treated appropriately.
The people down there in the villages, the community health workers at the front line of healthcare, they need to appreciate that whenever someone has a fever, because the fever is the hallmark actually of sepsis, when someone feels hot, because again people might think that fever is malaria, but whenever someone feels hot, they should also have a suspicion that this person is very prone to getting infection, and once that infection is not treated very well, this person can end up getting sepsis.
Dr. Priscilla Haguma discloses that many sepsis patients exhibit a wide range of symptoms, including cough, fever, low body temperature, shivering, and even unconsciousness.
Because the WHO recognized in 2017 that sepsis is a very big problem globally. And One of the things that they ask is that as countries within the UN states, we promote training of healthcare workers to quickly recognize and appropriately manage sepsis. Because once it is recognized early, sepsis can be treated. But on late recognition, it is very difficult and very expensive to treat.
Experts raised an alarm about the misuse of antibiotics, an issue that is often overlooked.
We would like the community to play their role and see that they are not misusing antibiotics and they are getting professional care from recognized, licensed health workers. We would like more strict regulation and enforcement for use of antibiotics, which is, as I said, very critical. We want information for health workers. Health workers are busy, but also they are handling different areas.
As World Sepsis Day approaches on 13th September, health experts hope to see increased involvement of policymakers and other stakeholders in the fight against this life-threatening condition. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Now, in Arua, refugees in urban centers in West Nile have expressed concerns over the high charges on residential rentals and accommodation facilities in the city. Some of the refugees say they were forced out of the camps because they wanted to access better social services like education and health, and also participate in the livelihood programs.
About 24,000 self-settled refugees who have migrated from the various settlement areas in West Nile. According to some of these refugees, they were forced to leave the camps in search for access to better social services like education and health, and also to participate in livelihood programs.
Simbili kule pia tunafanya mwezi moya, lakini problem ilikuwa kila siku watoto biko na gonjwa, mtoto atagonjwa hivi utaenda kwa hospital biko naleta tu paladone. Njoba anasema kama iko hivi turudie hapa. Tulikuwa hapa tuko na kukua na nyumba ya watu hii tuko na lipa. Sasa tulienda kule tulifaa mwezi moya kurejesta na mwezi moya kule tulirudi hapa mwenyezi nyumba alianja lomba pesa yake.
Some leaders from Arua city confirmed that the refugees have had challenges in accessing some social services because of lack of legal identification.
One of the challenges has been registration and documentation, such as refugee identification status, IDs, and then birth certificates. It has been a challenge for them to obtain those key documents which would have been necessary for them. There are many who have now come up, like especially to our office, to seek for guidance how they can access the services. You know, previously they did not know.
In response, Arua City Council through the LC systems and FIDA Uganda have been collaborating with the Norwegian Refugee Council to help them get access to legal services and representations in courts of law.
They say that whenever they report cases to police, they are not given the attention they deserve, and they still say they are being discriminated against in Arua here, and this comes in terms of access to health, access to education, where they are paying more fees and being vulnerable enough. And for our interventions, we provide legal aid services to the refugees right from police, and if the cases cross to court, of course we make sure we support them with our representations. They are there even in the women prison. We visited recently 2 weeks ago, and their complaint has still been their cases are delayed because the high court sessions don't come like every now and then, and they are still also crying a lot that the government should come in for them. They need that support.
The NRC has now established an information counseling and legal center in Arua City where urban refugees can go for assistance.
Our information counseling and legal assistance program ensures that refugees, even the ones living here in the urban, have the right knowledge to navigate some of the complexities that comes. We conduct several awareness sessions so that asylum seekers and refugees understand their rights and obligations. We also assist refugees in processing certain legal documentations that enable them to do certain things like open businesses or even continue on with their education. We do not do this alone. We work together with government institutions, we work together with community leaders, and work together with like-minded partners such as the Uganda Law Society.
Joseph Onama, UBC News.
And in the area of road safety, residents living around Kyabazinga Junction have called upon KCCA to install road safety features following accountable deadly road crashes. Civil society organizations have carried out a campaign aimed at assessing issues related to road safety features on Kampala's busy roads.
This campaign, dubbed Commit to Act, aims at ensuring that road safety stakeholders maintain safe road features for road users. Road safety CSOs under the Coalition of Road Safety Uganda have carried out a road safety operation pointing out road safety gaps along the Kyabazinga Junction.
Funding from Global Alliance for NGOs in Road Safety, we are running a campaign called Commit to Act. The campaign is focusing on ensuring that the key stakeholders managing the key road safety, road infrastructure in the country commit to improving the safety features on the roads in Kampala.
Notable was the lack of essential road features like zebra crossings, signal traffic lights, among others. Despite being a busy point, Kampala Capital City authorities called upon to act.
Well, there is a walkway, but unfortunately the walkways are encroached on by the people selling merchandise. Two, there are traffic lights, but those traffic lights, they last worked when it's been a long time, and you can even find that the border men are hanging jackets on the traffic lights. There is a zebra crossing, but unfortunately it is faded.
Dangerous place. If you would give us a zebra crossing, it will work for us. We would be very grateful for whoever does it, either from KCC or from an NGO. We shall be grateful.
Tewali zebra, wawetaga ka zebra kalaga nti abantu batambula. Wajja abapiki baagala otomera bano abayise abatambulirawo ku kkubo.
There was a need for sensitization of road users concerning the different road signs and proper road usage.
Part of this campaign, we are going to do a mini sensitization of the responsibilities of the pedestrian. For example, pedestrians need to understand some of the road signs. For example, if there is a sign that says zebra crossing, that is a designated area where a pedestrian needs to cross from. But unfortunately in Uganda, some of the pedestrians don't know some of those signs, so you find someone that decides to cross wherever they feel like crossing, risking their lives.
The Kyabazinga Junction is comprised of open manholes and deadly potholes in the road, and the place harbors crowded points like market, schools, a university and other recreation centers. Mario Nawori and Abdul Nasir Luwama for UBC.
Tuli wano leero ku Divine College Wakiso okutuusa obweyamu ew'omuwanguzi waffe owa school fees kubanga abadde akozesa pay with momo okusasula school fees za mwana we era awangudde school fees za term 3.
Nze nkolera Kagadi naye kinyanguyira okozesa MTN momo olw'okubanga transport okuva Kagadi okujja ero Kampala mitwalo 6 nga nyiga *165*8 *8 nakozesa MTN momo nga balance yali asigaddeyo ne musasula. Kakati nange nafuuse omuwanguzi mu MTN momo. Ndi musanyufu nnyo abe MTN otuddiza. Bazadde bannange mbakubiriza okozesa MTN momo kubanga MTN yesigika, MTN mazima wanvu.
Together we're unstoppable.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with baby junior jelly.
Though dried their chariots and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, Baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love Baby Junior jelly. Baby soothes the skin. No more worries anymore. Baby Junior. Baby Junior.
Sometimes, the pressure of paying taxes can feel overwhelming. The temptation to cut corners and under-declare your income may creep in. But before you make that choice, consider the cost. Under-declaring taxes might seem like an easy way out, but the consequences can be severe. URA offers resources and payment plans to help you manage your taxes. You can pay in installments if it's difficult to pay in full. Transparency is key. Avoid penalties and unexpected liabilities by reporting everything accurately. To report corruption, call URA on our toll-free lines. Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us, hands that prepare soil for farming, hands that we use to learn, and hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
To prepare, just 3 minutes and they're ready. You can have them anywhere.
Indomie instant noodles is available in 3 flavors of chicken, beef, and vegetable. Buy your Indomie instant noodles in supermarkets and dukas near you anywhere across Uganda. Indomie instant noodles, Uganda's best loved noodles.
Where does it come from? That thing that makes us Ugandan. Some say it's in our history, in our culture, and in our hearts, in our warm smiles and vast miles of coffee. It's in our inherent pursuit to always be better, to never stop growing and glowing. We are a nation of sweat and skills, a nation of ideas and inventions. But what truly makes us Ugandan is our quest to invest in agribusiness, manufacturing, tourism, infrastructure, health, and education to improve the quality of life of Ugandans. That's what makes us Uganda Development Bank.
We can do better.
Uganda Development Bank, inspiring development.
Welcome back from that short break. It's time for business. Now, the board chairperson of the Microfinance Support Center, Dr. Emmanuel Aliba, has commended the remarkable success of Emyooga savings and credit cooperatives in Kigezi sub-region during a fact-finding mission to assess the program's impact on the transforming of livelihoods. Dr. Aliba urged communities to keep politics out of the Emyooga initiative, emphasizing that political interference could hinder the program's primary goal of eradicating poverty.
Wealth Creation Initiative, Emyooga, spearheaded by the board chairperson of the Microfinance Support Center, Dr. Emmanuel Aliba, is making waves in transforming the social and economic well-being of communities in Kigezi sub-region. During an impact assessment and monitoring exercise across districts such as Kabarole, Bundibujo, Kamwenge and Chenjojo, Dr. Aliba expressed satisfaction with the transformation witnessed among the beneficiaries in the 18 categories of Emyooga savings and credit cooperatives.
There are somewhere where we get some political leaders who have divergent views about government and its programs. Please, I would like to call upon all our leaders. Let us unite on one thing: the wealth creation. This one should unite all of us. Let us be divergent.
He noted that the Emyooga circles have had a profound impact on economic empowerment and have improved livelihoods for participants.
Some people are really benefiting a lot. We have brought the Emyooga people together, trained them, and by themselves they have made more money than what we have given them.
In Bundibujo district, one female beneficiary from the Bwamba restaurant owners Emyooga circle has seen her life drastically change. Previously a street vendor selling roasted cassava in her town, she now runs a successful restaurant, creating employment opportunities for others in her community.
We really thank the President of Uganda, Mr. Yoweri Museveni, for bringing this program of Emyooga, because it has really helped us. It has really given us a very good starting point.
Meanwhile, in the hills of Bundibujo, the Bujendera Welders Emyooga Circle is giving local welders a chance to enhance their skills and grow their businesses. Dr. Aliba also engaged religious and cultural institutions that have benefited from financial inclusion services provided by the Microfinance Support Center. He emphasized the crucial role these institutions play in driving communities to embrace wealth creation programs through Emyooga.
The cultural leaders can help us to neutralize the empty talks that some of the divergent views would like to put on the table. You know, how can you tell people that all the Emyooga has died in Uganda? Is that true? Now here the cultural leader can stand and say, no, this is not true.
He asserts that these institutions are instrumental in fostering a culture of financial responsibility and wealth creation for sustainable financial growth. As the Emyooga initiative continues to touch lives and boost economies, it stands as a shining example of what strategic financial inclusion and community empowerment can achieve for Uganda's future. Marion Awori and Robert Whiter for UBC.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby dondolo.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondolo. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Welcome to the world of sports, where the third edition of the Game Connect Sports Tournament has climaxed in Germany. It was a contest between 4 teams that competed in football, netball and volleyball.
Kampala beat Adjumani 4-3 in penalties 4 after a nerve-wracking regulation time ended goalless. Kampala was also impressive in volleyball, in which it beat Chikube by 3-0. In a totally one-sided netball final, hosts Adjumani outclassed Kamwenge 7-1 in a game. The theme for this year was Think Sports, Think Mental Health, and these games are organized under a consortium tagged Game Connect with the aim of improving mental health for the refugee youth in the country.
That we do within our communities. We want the district to take leadership in this program so that even when the project is not here, we are able to continue with these activities.
Settlements that have been involved here. Districts have been mentioned, but if you go to the nitty-gritty of this district, you may find settlements have been represented here. Adjuman has around 19 settlements. How can we feel the impact of this activity in other settlements?
The program works with over 16,000 young people. However, one of the challenges we have while organizing these games is how many young people we have to get to participate in the games. We would love to have all the youth come together, be able to meet with the other colleagues, but it's quite a very big challenge being able to transport all of them to a location like this. So it's quite a very big problem. We get to have fewer young people involved in the games.
The tournament attracted 4 teams including Kampala, Chikube, Kamwenge and hosts Adjumani.
Now, State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, has advised Ugandans, especially the talented youth, to emphasize sports for prolonged life. Muyingo was officiating the handover of 40 football jerseys and 10 million shillings to victors in Kalaso Muzanganda football tournament Zirowe in Luwero district. He promised to continue supporting sports in the area and cautioned people, especially the youth, against politicizing these activities. Dr. Muyingo also advised them to support government programs aimed at poverty alleviation. Well, let's meet again at 10 o'clock. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango. Stay with us.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.